Hello, this is the Tradesight U.S. Stocks and Futures Market Preview for Wednesday, August 2nd, 2017. We had a good week, a couple good stock picks today, and we did well in the futures as well, but then that was all very early. Things died off and became really pitiful in the second half of the day. Here's the ES front month futures contract. This is the daily chart of the broad market in futures form. I'd like to tell you something's changed, but it really hasn't. Let's just go through the major indices, and then we'll look at the intraday action. So here's the crude oil dropping down $1.47 to 48.70, back down after being up for the last week or two. Crude oil gained 60 cents. I'm sorry, gold gained 60 cents, which is a blip. The S&P cash index ended up closing up 6. It opened up 8, so basically a 2-point swing between the open of the day and the close of the day. NASDAQ 100 up 14, which is a blip. The SOX index up 5, which is also a blip. None of this really even registers on these charts. The biotechs got hurt a little bit, down 32. The VIX dropped 17 cents back to 10.09. Unreal. Trend closes at 1.27. That leaves the 10-day at 1.12. NASDAQ volume it was really 1.7 at the close, 1.8 with some aftermarket stuff. Apple reporting right now, by the way, as I type this or record this. We've got advanced decline ratio on the NASDAQ plus 213 and on the New York plus 630. Google was up $1. That's the blip for Google, obviously. Apple was up $1.32. Amazon was up 8. Bouncing back after selling off for the last week. Netflix up 37 cents. That's a blip there. Tesla down 3.90. TLT, the 20-year bond ETF, up 60 cents, and the Goldman Sachs up $1.67. Let's look at some intraday stuff. So we had a nice short in SGEN under 50.16. Here's a look at the 5-minute chart. Nice mover on the session. Triggered early when there was action in the market. It worked great. CLVS was short under 83.28 off the report. That one dropped 3 points. So no complaints there. And then we had some intraday calls that worked, some Amazon and some others if you were interested. So overall, a good day, but most of it in that first hour. Futures also worked in the first hour. Let's take a look at the intraday futures action just so we can see. So look at that. See, there's that gap up and then sold off. Almost filled, but not quite on the ES. Couple back and forth moves, and then look at this. Starting at noon, it climbs back to 24.72, and it sits in a 2-point range essentially for the last 4 hours of the day. Unbelievable. Painful. NASDAQ side, not much different. The wiggles were early, filled the gap, but then very flat for the whole day. All right, so not much else to look at. I wish I could say something new. We do, like I said, have Apple's earnings, and other than that, we'll be looking for some better action someday. I can't say that it's necessarily tomorrow because today was the first day of the new quarter, and you would have thought it was possible that today would be the day. Here's the aftermarket trade on Apple here. Is that actually open right now? That might be halted with the earnings still. So we can't really look at that. But we will see what we get. Maybe the Apple news itself will get the stock market moving a bit, shake free of this. At some point in August, usually markets do start to move, and September is one of the most negative months of the year historically. Charts as usual. Oh, sorry, let me tell you, we have, in terms of economic data tomorrow, I almost forgot all about that. Let's just take a quick look at what we have here. So on Wednesday already, we have an hour before the bell, 7 a.m. Eastern Time, MBA Mortgage Applications Index, 8:15 a.m. ADP Employment Change, an hour into the market, crude oil inventories. That is it. Charts as usual brought to you by eSignal. If you've not yet taken a trial of our services, feel free to do so. We will help you out for a couple weeks. Have a great trading Wednesday.